Dec. Thanks for joining me here at Lady Bay today for your player profiles interviews.
No worries.
Okay, so your first question, it's come from the message boards. People have been emailing in as well. So the first one comes from, well, it's just a number for a name, 0294670. And that question is, being a Doncaster player, what were your feelings after the loss up there the other week?
I think it was pretty disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think if we'd have gone to Doncaster and performed, it could have been a different story. And I guess truthfully, we can't look at each other in the face and say that we gave we turned up and gave a performance. So it was disappointing on that front. But luckily we got back on training on Monday and hit the ground running and put a few things to right. So fingers crossed that's just a blip in the road that's behind us now. We can look forward for the rest of the season.
Good man. And I suppose is Doncaster, you're from Wakefield, that's right, isn't it? Is Doncaster your local club?
It wasn't actually. My junior rugby was played at Sandal Rugby Club. Okay. And I also attended Queen Elizabeth Grammar School in Wakefield. Okay. And as I was leaving sixth form at school, I entered the Doncaster Academy. And then from Doncaster I moved to Loughborough, where I became a sports scholar there. Played rugby for Loughborough for a year, and I was fortunate enough to find my feet here at Nottingham.
So I suppose in the Doncaster game, were you kind of against people you'd seen a lot of before, or?
Yeah, the Doncaster team featured a lot of the, well, 2 or 3 of the lads that I'd gone through the Doncaster Academy with, and 3 or 4 Leeds Carnegie guys who I knew. So yeah, there were a few familiar faces, but they're only really familiar off the field, aren't they? So yeah,
excellent.
A couple.
So the second question, Dec, comes from Annie Bowden, who I believe is, well, you've been in touch through your college, Loughborough College, I believe,
indeed, yeah.
Where you're a proud student of. So the question she's interested in is how you found the transition going into the championship this season.
Yeah, I think initially it was a little bit of a culture shock. The level in which you've got to think that's a lot higher. It's more physical, it's a lot faster, but obviously training over pre-season 3 or 4 times a week, I soon became attuned to it, so okay. I feel pretty confident now. Sure. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Good man. And I mean, this was your first pro contract. How did you feel about signing that first contract?
Yeah, I was absolutely over the moon. It was when we were away at the RAF Shawsbury pre-season camp. Sure. And Glenn sort of pulled me over after one of the meals and said, we need to have a sit-down chat and talk about rugby. So I was kind of expecting to have a bit of a general chat, but no, it was regarding the contract situation. And yeah, I was absolutely over the moon to be signing for Nottingham as a 20-year-old. It's brilliant.
Fantastic. And what sort of things have you been enjoying about being with the club?
Yeah, I mean the lads are cracking lads. We have socials maybe once a month, and the banter going around the changing rooms, quality. In terms of the management staff, Benny, Jono, Glax, they're all sound guys. If there's any issues, you can always go talk to them, have a bit of a chat about what you're getting right, what you're getting wrong, and ultimately it's quite a productive area. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
And how are you enjoying or kind of getting on with the studies alongside the sport? How's that going?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm a student at Loughborough College, studying foundation sports science, and I was fortunate enough to become one of their sports scholars this year. And luckily, there's a dedicated team there within the sports department that if I've got any issues regarding my lectures and seminars and that sort of thing, they can put it right, and I can go see tutors at different times. So my training comes first, and it's quite a tailored relationship dependent on the individual, but it's been very supportive for me, and I'm very appreciative of that.
And would you say that that playing professional rugby and studying sports, they sort of complement each other?
Yeah, they do. In one of my second year modules, I do a sports analysis module, and I'm hopefully going to analyse some of the Nottingham games and incorporate that into my course. So for me, that's married up quite neatly.
Excellent. So Dec, I wonder if you could tell me about your international past, the international rugby that you've played.
Right, okay, yeah, as a sort of 14-year-old, I was playing for the Irish Exiles, and I progressed through the Irish Exile system playing under 17s, 18s and 20s. When I got to the Irish Exiles under 18s age group, I went over and played in a couple of interprovincial games over in Ireland, and I was fortunate enough to get an Ireland under 18s trial. From that, I was then successful in gaining 2 full Ireland under 18s caps. It was probably my best moment in rugby when I actually captained the Ireland under 18s team against Languedoc in France. So yeah, I'm an Ireland under 18 junior international.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, it's quite a deep question. I'm not sure. I'd quite like to be somewhere similar to where I am now. Still playing full-time rugby. But I've got no idea. I mean, it'd be absolutely perfect if I could still be here in 5 years' time. But who knows? You're only one injury away from a change of direction, and see, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, do you have any particular ambitions with rugby?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to, carry on with professional rugby, and it's always a nice aspiration to have that you could one day play international rugby, but you've got to keep working hard. You've got to put all your hours in on the training field and work on your skills and that sort of thing, and see what happens from there. But it's a long way away yet, 5 years. So at the moment, I'm just sort of thinking about the short term, wanting to get my training done, work hard, and see where I am in a couple of months.
Yeah, and sort of the last one from Lauren, you're a big fan. How did you meet your girlfriend? Is there some kind of story behind this one?
Yeah, it was actually on my birthday. It was on my 19th birthday, and we both students at Loughborough, Freshers Week. We were walking into town, and there was this sort of brunette girl walking alongside me, and being my birthday, I was on a little bit of a canter, and I got talking to her, and then she was sort of saying, "Oh, are you going to be one of those sorts of guys that uses a standard chat-up lines, get your coat you've pulled sort of thing?" And I just said, "Oh, no. I go around it a completely different way." And she said, "Oh, well, what would you say then?" And I just said, "Oh, no, don't worry, it wouldn't matter, it's fine." So we carried on walking towards Loughborough town, and then I turned and said to her, I said, "Excuse me, could you tell me how much a polar bear weighs?" And she was sort of taken back by it, and sort of said, "Oh, I'm not too sure, maybe 100, 150 kilos." And I just said, "Oh, no, it's enough to break the ice. I'm Declan, nice to meet you." So
you've since figured in all but one of the Nottingham rugby games this season in the Championship. How is that? How are your nerves for those games? Are they settled? Or?
They have, yeah. I mean, I do get quite anxious before the game, but obviously once the game's begun, there's no space for nerves and worries and that sort of thing. So I do my best to prepare well the night before, get a good night's sleep, eat well the next morning, and then just go out, start training, and hopefully hit the ground running when I'm on the field.
So Dec, you've obviously made the trip down from Wakefield. You now live in Loughborough in Leicestershire.
Yeah.
How does the north compare with the Midlands?
I think the north's a lot warmer. It's been described as being a bit tropical, January to March sort of time. I think the Midlands is a bit windy. But yeah, I mean, I like it. To be fair, the Midlands is a little better than the north. I mean, I guess we've got the internet and electricity down here, which is always a little bit better than candles and that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I do like living up north, believe it or not.
And your family, where are they? Kind of Midlands based, or are they still back up north?
No. I'm actually from Wakefield, and that's where predominantly my family live within the vicinity of Yorkshire. So I am predominantly from a northern family.
Retaining your northern roots.
I'm trying my best to, yeah.
Hey, so just finally then, Dec, winter's coming along now. It's soon going to be Movember time. I was speaking to the skipper, Craig Cammond, earlier. He's already started to put his work into that.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
Is this something you're going to be participating in?
Yeah, it will be. I've had an initial trim on the old mullet. It's sort of gaining a little bit of bulk at the back. So that should be ready. As you can see, I've started early on the moustache, because I've got a nice fine set of facial hair, and hopefully the rat's tail will be on its way too. So should hit the ground running for November.
And there's only one way to end it up. It's soon going to be time for the annual calendar. Is this something the Nottingham Rugby boys have told you much about? Oh
yeah, the guys are mad keen for this. There's been a fair bit of naked posing in the change rooms and that sort of thing behind inconspicuous protein shakers and such. But yeah, it all sounds like a good laugh, and there's a fair few ideas going around the changing rooms. I think some of the boys have been down today actually, having a bit of a dry run, a bit of a photo shoot, so hopefully it should be a bit of a cracker.
Excellent, Dec. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for joining me.
No problem, mate.